Um, so it's really, really great to be here. I know Karuna. We studied together, but this is my first time on her Mind Oasis platform. So I'm really, really thrilled and pumped to be here. And I've heard the yoga immersion with everyone has been really, really amazing. So I'm glad that people are enjoying it and getting a deep dive into yoga. Nothing like a little challenge or a plan to keep it going, right? Structure, I guess I should say. All right. Still some people signing on. Karuna, I'll just kind of take your lead as to when to start. If you want to give it another couple minutes, I don't know, or start right on time, you tell me. Just dive
I
in.
say dive on in, sister. I'm
All
so
right.
happy to see everyone here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our lovely Sarah Blackburn. And I say just take it away, Miss Sarah.
All right, that sounds like a plan. So, hi everyone. Yeah, my name's Sarah, as I was saying. Karuna and I are studying together, and so I'm really, really thrilled to be here. And it was funny though when Karuna, when you reached out, I was like, I don't know, because I'll be honest with you, I don't put myself in the yogi category. Like I don't think of myself as hardcore yoga practitioner. And in fact, Karuna and I even bonded because I was like, you know what? Sometimes I really hate yoga, you know. um, and so I kind of had to think about oh, what is it specifically about this practice I'll talk about today that makes me want to do it? Because it really is when I do yoga, I do this practice that I'm going to share, this Lady Niguma practice. And there's a couple different reasons. I won't go into all of them in detail because it'll unfold throughout the morning as we go through. But the I think probably my favorite thing about it is that it's got a whole story that comes along with it. It was created by a woman. And so we'll start off by learning her story. That's where that'll be our landing. What's the word? Our jumping board platform, diving board. We'll dive into her story. And then the other reason I love it is that it very clearly tells you why. And I'm the kind of person who likes to know why I'm doing something before I do it. And you'll get her philosophy. And that'll be the second thing we'll do. After the story, I'll break down for you the reason why we move our body in the way that we do. Okay. And then probably the third reason why I really like it is that it's a gentle yoga. It's called Chandra Namaskar, which means a moon salutation. So if you've heard of Surya Namaskar, that's the sun salutation. This is a moon salutation, Chandra Namaskar. And so everything starts on the left. And thank you. And it's sweet, it's gentle, it's the divine feminine. So all of those kind of help me get my rear end on the mat and actually practice it. Yeah. Um, and then another thing I just want to share. Oh, sorry. Last thing we'll do is I'll tell you the story, I'll give you the philosophy, and then the second half of our time together will be going through the actual sequence. We'll do the asana. And there'll be time at the end for questions. And then one thing about our time together, if you have questions that pop up as I'm sharing, just either unmute and shout it out or type it in the chat. I don't want it to just be a lecture. You're welcome to ask questions, and hopefully we'll even have a little time to talk so that I don't have to talk the whole time and you all can have a chance to chime in. Yeah. Okie dokie. So let's start with the story of Lady Niguma, because it's a big part of how her system works. And it starts 1,000 years ago. So transport your mind to ancient India, and there's these two hot spots. There's this place called Kashmir, and that's where our story begins. It's a place where a lot of spiritual leaders were said to be born and gathered. And then there's this other hotspot called Nalanda. And Nalanda will show up in our story at a certain point too. And Nalanda is where like all the universities are. It's where the monasteries are. Monks go there to debate. Spiritual seekers go there to do the formal study. Okay. So that's our time and our place. And we start off with this guy. His name's Naropa. So ancient India, Kashmir, this guy, Naropa. And he is of a royal family, as often the stories go. And he's a prince, only child. And he's destined to be the king of the land, right? Except that he's not that into it. Naropa is like, screw that. I'm not really so down for like being in charge and doing this whole home life thing or get married, like run the land. I really love studying spirituality. I love philosophy. I want to meditate. I want to contemplate. I want to like have these realizations of my world. I want to that's what I want to do. I want to go be a monk. I want to study at Nalanda, right? I want to go to that spiritual center. So that's Naropa's dream. But of course, the parents are like, yeah, no, you're going to be the king. Sorry, but that's just the way it rolls. And Naropa's like, no, gosh. So they have the family feud. And eventually Naropa folds and he's like, all right, I'll do the whole king queen thing. And I know you're trying to like marry me off to someone. The only way I'll do it though is if my bride has got this list of things. She's got to be a certain way. Okay. And he gives his parents this like kind of crazy list, all thinking that like maybe he'll make it crazy enough that they can't find this person and then he won't have to get married and he can like be like, well, you know, it didn't work out. I'm headed to Nalanda. Okay, so he gives them the list. The list is as follows. My queen must be, okay, this is gonna sound a little whack because when I first heard it, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. She's got to be 16. Okay, here's the thing. It's ancient India. And like that was the thing that you got married super young. In fact, they would marry them off like soon as they had their cycle. It was like, okay, you're 12, get married. So the fact that she was 16 was like, she was a little more mature. Okay, that's what I tell myself because I was thoroughly bothered by the fact that he wanted a 16-year-old. But anyway, moving on, I'll move past my junk. 16, and she's got to be really, really loving. She has to be compassionate. She has to be extremely kind, loving woman at 16. Okay. She needs to be the daughter of a Brahmin. Okay. So he's basically saying, I want her to be spiritual. I want her to have some deeper meanings of life going on, you know, because that's what he cared about. He said specifically, she must have wisdom. Okay, she must have a spiritual intelligence and have some realizations there. She must have some understanding about her world. And she has to have the name Immaculate. That I want her name to be Immaculate. It's like, okay, that's a little ridiculous, but let's do it. Immaculate. So that's the list. And if you find me that person, I'll do your thing. I'll get married. I'll be the king of the land. So his parents are like, they find their two best servants, their two ministers, and they give them the list. And the ministers are sent out all across India to try and find some chick who's got all these qualities. And it's the impossible list. And as you might imagine, a year goes by with these two ministers looking for some chick named Immaculate who's like great, right? So it's the course of a year and they are starting to get a little worried. They haven't found anyone. And of course, the instructions are, if you don't find her, we're going to chop off your head or something insane. And it's now been a year. They've been traveling. They're tired. They're haggard. All of their clothes are ripped up. It's like ancient India. Traveling is not like what it is today. You're not just going to hop on a flight and bounce around. It's like difficult. So they look mangy. They're starving. They're at their wits' end, and they haven't found anybody. So there they are in the forest, kind of having like a, my God, freak out thing. What are we gonna do? And they look out, and then they see this lovely chick, this lovely woman who is walking in the forest. She's got a pail on her head, and they figure out she's headed to the well. Okay, so they're like, okay, let's kind of follow her secretively, see what's up. Mainly, probably they just wanted some water, but like also, who knows? We're checking out each and every woman we could possibly come across. So here is the girl. She's got the pail on her head. She shows up to the well, and they're like waiting to get a plan together. And she just drops the pail in the well. She doesn't like hook it up to the string and like, wind it down, fill it up, wind it back up. She just drops the thing in the well. And they're like, what, why would you do that? Like, I thought you were here to get water. And so they're kind of like, that was weird. And then the second they look back, she's now got the pail back on her head, but it's full of water. And they're like, oh, that was kind of crazy. Okay, you got some like weirdness going on here. Maybe some like magic is happening. And they get a plan together, and they're like, okay, we should go talk to her. Maybe she's the one. But they know they look all like super sketchy. So they like creep on up to her, and they're trying to be mindful, like, don't scare this girl away. We really just want to talk to her, probably, and get some water. So they crawl up to her, knowing that they look like super skank, and meet her, and expecting her to like run away because of the way they look. Instead, she's like, oh my goodness, you look like you're having a really hard time. Can I offer you some water? So she gives them some water, helps them out. And they're like, whoa, you're really kind too. You could have run away from us, but that's really great. Thanks for the water, and thanks for being nice and kind. So as you can imagine, they start chatting, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're great. You have some special powers. You can just make water appear in a pail on your head. You're really kind. Talk more. They find out that she is the daughter of a Brahmin. And they're like, wait, what? Oh my gosh, this is like totally working out. And of course, as you might guess, what's your name? Oh, my name's Immaculate. And they're like, oh my God, that's so cool. Niguma, Immaculate. They're like, we have finally found you. Don't understand. We've been searching for you. It's been a year. We were sent on a mission. We were meant to find you. Here's what we've got going on. And they tell her their mission, right? They're like, we were looking for you because there's this guy in Kashmir. His name is Naropa, and he's got to get married, and he wants someone like you. And she's like, oh, marriage. Okay, maybe, but I don't know. Here's the thing. Like, I am here devoted to my family. I help my father. I help the village. I'm not just going to pick up and like go with you to meet some stranger. You're going to have to like meet some people. It's specifically, you've got to meet my father. You've got to meet the Brahmin. And, if it's all cool, then yeah, maybe I'll go with you. If not, then I'm not gonna be able to help you. It's really like, this is a family decision. So ministers go, they meet the Brahmin, they meet her dad, and tell him the whole spiel. And he's like, okay, yeah, maybe, but I don't exactly remember how it comes up, but basically what ends up happening is they find out that she is of Hindu religion. Yeah. So her father's a Brahmin. She's learned so much of the Hindu yoga philosophy. Part of why she's so kind, part of why she's so powerful are these yogic practices she's learned from her father, the Brahmin. And they're of the Hindu religion. And homie Naropa is Buddhist. And she's like, or I'm sorry, the dad is like, yeah, that's not going to work. Sorry, no can do, not happening. And the two servants are like, you've got to be kidding me. You don't know how long I've searched. This is the woman. This is going to make everything go better. We need her to marry Naropa. And the Brahmin dad is just like, sorry, Charlie, that's not happening. No, 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 no. Okay, so the story goes that the two servants like throw themselves at the doorstep of the Brahmin of Niguma, and they're like, "We're not leaving unless we leave with Niguma." And so, whatever, a whole year goes by, they're pining at the doorstep to get uh, Niguma to go with them. And finally, they convince the whole village. Finally, they convince the father. And the whole family, Naguma, the Brahmin dad, the two ministers, finally make their way back to Kashmir, to Naropa, to the king and the queen. And they're like, we've got her, we found her. Let's make this happen. And in the story, at this point, it actually goes quite smoothly, right? So Naguma meets Naropa, and it turns out they have this like spiritual connection because she's so well studied in her Hindu tradition, and he's so well studied in his. Yeah, exactly. Except for that 16-year-old part being a little creepy, everything else is great, right? Um, then they get along quite well, and it turns out that they like fall in love and they get married, and you think everything's going well, right? The parents are happy, like, yay, I married off my son. The Brahmin is happy, like, oh, she's actually in love, it works out. The couple is happy couple. 7-8 years go by, and then finally the parents start getting a little antsy again, and they're like, we need a grandchild. And you're here ruling the land, but what can you do to like bump it up a little bit? Like, we need you to really step into this role. We need to know that our family lineage will continue. We want you to have a kid, and we want you to like really become the king and the queen, like own this position. Meanwhile, these 8 years have gone by where Naguma and Naropa have dove into their spiritual practice. Like, they want to reach enlightenment. They want to live out their what they feel is their higher calling, to practice and learn from each other and reach a state of moksha, a state of freedom, state of enlightenment. Yeah. And they're like, I don't want to do this gig. Like, I'm not trying to be the king and queen of the land. That's not what I want. And so Naguma and Naropa devise a plan that they can get themselves out of this predicament where they're stuck, like ruling a land, which I know sounds nice to be royalty, but apparently they're not that thrilled with it. And they devise this plan. Okay, a little like precursor. And for me, this part felt a little sexist, but don't worry, it's going to get better. It's going to get better, I promise. Because the plan is that Naropa and Naguma are going to tell a lie to the parents and to the village. They are going to say that Naguma was unfaithful. She cheated on Naropa, and everyone knows, obviously, when you cheat, like the whole thing's off. And she'll be sent into exile. He will be able, they'll be free, right? They'll be broken up. And meanwhile, they've made all these special bonds to each other. We love each other. No, 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 no. You're always in my heart. The whole lovey-dovey thing. Let's tell the lie. Naguma's like, I'll go into exile. And yeah, Harry and Meghan. And Naropa, you can go do your studies. All right. And we'll always be together in our hearts. So they go, they tell the parents the story, and they're heartbroken. The word gets out to the whole kingdom. Kingdom is heartbroken. Obviously, y'all got to break up. So they break up. Okay. Naguma is in exile, right? Like, it's the worst thing you could ever do is like cheat on your partner. So she's off in the forest or whatever exile is. And Naropa goes off to Nalanda and does his monk thing. Remember, that was always his dream. I want to be a monk. He does his monk thing. He makes it so far to be the abbot of Nalanda University, like highest ranking person you could be in that whole monastic study scene, right? He gets his dream come true. And so there they are, like living their two separate lives. I don't know how much time goes by. Time goes by though. And Naropa is there in his like study central campus doing his thing. And there's this, he gets all these realizations, right? He becomes a very high practitioner, very powerful. He's reached certain states that on his path that give him some confidence. And they also give him a really big ego, right? And he becomes like, I'm so great. I'm the abbot of Nalanda, and I am this high spiritual practitioner. But there's something in the back of his mind that's like, there's still something I don't quite get. And he starts to like start fishing for some other teaching that he hasn't received yet. He's like, what am I missing? Like, I'm the best, but that still feels like deep in my heart, there's something that I don't quite have down. And so he goes to the library, pulls out a logic book. Okay. And he's like, well, maybe this is it. Goes off into the forest to do his study thing. And he's there in the forest with his logic book and, sits down, gets himself comfortable, starts reading through it. And then as he's starting to get into it, he notices some things happening around him, right? Like acorn falls, hits him on the head. Who knows? I don't know. Weird things start happening. And he's like, wait, what's up? That goes on for a little bit. He's trying to get into the logic book, right? The thing that he needs to understand, or he's hoping is going to be fill that void in his heart. And then suddenly this old hag appears. I don't know why they always make him a hag. It's always that in the story, but there's the old hag. She appears and she's like, they say something, she's got like 40 kinds of scary, unattractive things. And she shows up and she's like, oh, what are you doing there? And, he's got this arrogance now. He's like, what do you mean? I'm reading a book. And he's kind of shitty to her, and she's just her regular, doing her thing. What are you doing? What are you reading? And he's like, oh, it's a book on logic. You wouldn't understand. And she's like, ooh, wow, that is so cool. You're reading logic. And she starts to get very, very happy. And he's like kind of in a weird way. And he's like, okay, I'm glad you're excited about logic. Like, you're not going to understand any of this, but like, I'm reading logic. And she's like, wow, that's amazing. Do you understand the words? Can you read the words? Like, so impressed that he can read and he gets the words. And he's like, obviously, yes, I can read the words. And she gets even more elated, like so pumped that he's reading a book on logic and he actually can read the words and comprehend. She's elated. And meanwhile, he's like, you weird lady, get away from me. I just want to read my book. Then she's like, oh, and so do you understand the highest meaning of this book? Can you put it into practice? Do you know what it really means? And he's like, I am the abbot of Nalanda. I am the highest ranking guy in all of the spiritual centers. Of course, I know the highest meaning of this book. And then she gets really upset. She goes like into they say she cries and she's just like a mess, like losing it and appearing to him very crazy the whole time. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you so insane? Like what's happening here? And so then she looks at him and she's like, I'll tell you what's happening. When I saw you in the forest reading, I knew I had to come and ask you what you were reading. And when you told me it was logic, my heart burst open because that is so important for somebody to understand. I was so happy to hear you were reading logic. And then when I asked you if you could actually read it and understand the words, you told me yes. And I knew you were telling me the truth. I knew you were being honest. You could actually read those words. And my heart soared even more. I was even happier that you have come in contact with something so powerful that can really help you and really change your life. But when I ask you if you understood the highest meaning and you told me yes, I knew you were lying. I knew that wasn't true. You don't know what this book means. You don't know how to put it into practice. You have so much more to learn. And it made my heart break that you would lie about what you know and that you don't really know the highest meaning of this book. And then Naropa is like, shit. Now I see that this hag lady is maybe got some knowledge. Like she read my heart. She knew that I was seeking something and she knew my capacity. And like he's like, yeah, sorry about that, whole like ego trip I was on, and I'm sorry I lied to you, like that was like a bad move. I would actually like to know the deepest meaning of this book in front of me. And she's like, well, too bad, you don't know, sorry. And he's like, come on, dude, help me out. And he probably didn't say, dude, I'm just a teenager of the 90s. And so that's just stuck with me. But anyway, she's like, well, if you want to learn what's in that book, really, you need to find this person called Tilopa. And snap, she disappears from him. So she leaves him with the name Tilopa. Names are a theme in this story. And then a whole thing happens where now Naropa has to go seeking out someone named Tilopa to learn the highest teachings, to reach the deepest realizations. Okay, so that is also a story in and of itself that I'm not going to get into, but there's a whole thing about Tilopa the fisherman. It's a whole story. Okay, what we'll do is fast forward the way that these ancient stories tend to do. And side note, what happened is that the hag was Niguma. And in her time in exile, she had met Tilopa. And Tilopa teaches her the highest teachings possible. She becomes a realized being. She's now enlightened. She can appear in any form needed for to help someone. And then when she saw this guy in the forest, she moved to go and help him, appears as the thing that would spark his mind enough to wake him up, and then tells him his next step. What does he need to do next? Go find Tilopa. Okay. And she, again, she's realized she studies with Tilopa. Now, things in these kinds of stories like time travel a little bit. By that, I mean, now you're going to put your mind like a few hundred years ahead. And we've got a new character. Their name is, let me look it up, I wrote it down, Neljor. Now we've got a different guy, as they say. Niguma stays the same, but now we're in a different land, still in India, but different land. And we've got another character, Neljor. Kunpa Neljor is his actual name. No, Kungpo. I just remembered Neljor. All right, there's a dude. And he is similar thing. He's a spiritual seeker and he's got a shtick. Here's his shtick. He loves to learn the highest teaching and, get the realization. And the way that he gets it is that he finds gold. He goes and gathers a bag of gold. Here's the new latest greatest thing, and figures out who he has to go to learn it, finds the teacher, finds the highest practitioner of that thing, be it yoga, be it meditative concentration, be it debate, whatever it is, and shows up to that teacher and throws him a bag of gold. And then they teach him the thing. He learns it really well. And then he's master of it, gets bored, moves on to the next thing with his bag of gold going around. And he's known for this. He's known. And I mean, I'm putting a certain slant on it. I shouldn't. It's actually really quite beautiful. He's a very, very well-versed spiritual practitioner and he's seeking something. He wants also realizations. He wants freedom. So has a whole life of traveling around, meeting these sages, offering them gold, and they teach him. And then, of course, he gets wind that there are some yogic teachings given by some person named Vajradhara. And these, Vajradhara, it means like the Buddha. It's another like Sanskrit word for the Buddha. And these yogic teachings, they give you cities, so you get magical powers. And they really are the step that you need to reach your highest potential, for you to reach enlightenment. And so Neljor is like, oh, that yogic thing sounds cool. I'm gonna do my shtick, yeah. And so he spends a little bit of time, gathers his bag of gold, and starts looking for these teachings by Vajradhara, by the Buddha, that are gonna bring him to his fullest potential. And somehow we end up back in a forest. Things happen in forest in ancient India. There he is, and this time he meets a traveler, just another person kind of doing whatever. And so they start chit-chatting, and he's like, hey, by the way, Neljor's like, I happen to be looking for these specific sets of teachings. They're yogic teachings taught by the Buddha. I don't know, you heard of that? And the traveler's like, funny enough, actually I have. You could learn that, or no, he doesn't say you could learn that. He's like, those teachings do exist. They're yogic teachings, and they do give you the siddhis. They do give you these last realizations. But you're a little bit like out of luck. You're fresh out of luck, because the person who transmits them, they're no longer teaching. And Neljor is like, what? Like, no, come on. Like, I'll do anything. Look, I've got this great bag of gold. I'll do anything. I need these teachings. Like, who is he? Tell me who the guy is. I'll do anything. I will show up. I'll give him my gold. It's all going to work out. Like, I know how this works. And the traveler is like, first of all, it's not a he, it's a she. So it's a woman that you're looking for. And like I said, she's not teaching. She's not going to teach you. Like, you can let go, let the dream go. Not going to happen. Why? Well, because if you want to study with Niguma, you have to have an extremely pure heart. And what the traveler is alluding to is that, or what he's telling Neljor, is you have to have certain karmas. And I don't want to go into the whole karma thing. That's not the point. But you have to have a certain amount of virtue in order to even be in the presence of this woman. And otherwise, you're just not even going to be able to see her. You're not going to find her. And she teaches on this island in the middle of the Ganges River, really hard to get to. And last big problem you have, my friend, she only teaches women. So, and I see that you're a guy, like, it's just not gonna work out. Like, and she's not teaching anymore. Like, forget it. The traveler's like, give it up. And of course, Neljor is like, no, I can't. I have to have these teachings. I'll do whatever. So that interaction leaves. And now Kunpo Neljor is looking for, now he's got a name. It's Niguma. He knows the teachings and travels the whole land, and then sees or hears word of some island in the Ganges River. And he's like, all right, I'll figure out the swimming thing. Gets himself to the island in the middle of the Ganges. And he gets there and he's like, okay, they told me I wouldn't be able to see her, but like, I'm going to search. So however many weeks go by, he's searching this island, like north, south, east, west, the whole spiel. She's not there. And he's like, what am I supposed to do? I got all the way here. I've got this gold. I don't see anybody. What now? Now I'm in the middle of like an island. Like, what do I do? And he continues looking, and then he starts to hear something. It sounds like women's voices, like talking, right? And he's like, oh my gosh, where is that coming from? So he's trying to follow the voices. Again, the whole run around the island, doesn't find them. Eventually, he looks up at the sky and realizes that the voices he's hearing are coming from like the sky, okay? And he's like, yay, I've found you. So he screams up, I'm looking for Lady Niguma to teach me these yogic practices that will give me these magical powers called the siddhis. Please, if that's you, come teach me. And Lady Niguma, being the enlightened being that she is, uh, hears him, and she is like pissed. She's like, they say, is this the point where she appears as a demon? I think, or she yells down and she's like, how dare you interrupt me? You have no idea how to ask for teachings. You have no idea to how you would actually request to learn this highest thing you could ever learn that will bring you enlightenment. You don't know what you're doing. Like, I'm not teaching you. And he's like, oh, sorry to interrupt, but actually I do know how to do the offering thing. I know, I'm sorry. I got this bag of gold. I'm gonna hook you up. Here's my gold. This is what I do. And uh, so she tells him no again. She shows up. Maybe this is when she's the demon. Sorry if I'm messing. At one point, she shows up as a demon. She's like scaring the crap out of him, and she's like, "Gold, like, go. I don't need your gold." And in an instant, obliterates his gold, throws it out, and they say that it actually painted the whole island with gold specks. So now he's standing in this, like, his gold is worthless, but he's looking around and the island is this stunning, sparkly gold place where, he could just stay in the sparkly gold island. But Neljor's like, no, I know that that's a trick. um I'd okay, you don't want my gold. I still want to learn from you. I don't want to stay in this paradise. Sorry, you're yelling at me, you're showing up as a demon, but what do I have to do? Please teach me. And she tells him no again, and as the story goes, he asks a third time, and finally she's like, all right, I'll teach you. um the problem is that you're down here on the island. I only teach up here with my girls. Like, we got to get you up here. And so she carries him up in the sky and he falls asleep. He still doesn't have the virtue to like hear it. And she's like, all right, well, now you're asleep. I'll come to you in a dream. She appears to him in a dream. She teaches him the entire yoga cities. She teaches him the practices. He wakes up from the dream and he's like, oh my gosh, Niguma, I had you in a dream. It was so nice, but I forgot what you told me. Like, he can't learn it. He just doesn't have the virtue or whatever. And so she's like, here we go again. Let me teach you. So she teaches him 3 times. Three is a theme. She teaches him these practices. He eventually becomes an expert. And then this Neljor becomes the one to pass on her teachings. There are a few stipulations for sharing her teachings. And oh, one thing I forgot to mention. Um, it's a minor detail, but like, backtrack, when Neljor showed up and he was looking for Naguma, she was also looking in her community to someone who would be ideal to pass these teachings along to. So she was also seeking someone to bestow her teachings to. Yeah. So they find each other, and long lost teacher student love there. They finally share these teachings. She passes it along, and that essence of their hearts, of Naropa, of Naguma, of all the transformations, finally they come together, and they're the spiritual enlightenment, the spiritual union happens, and Neljor gets the download. The stipulations are, you can only teach these once every 7 generations. You can only teach it to one person. Eventually, around the 1400s, there's this guy, his name's Jason Kappa. He gets the download, and then they start teaching it publicly. Whatever. Story ends. So that's the Lady Naguma story. That's how the fable goes, that these practices came to the Buddhist lineage, how they were shared, and this love affair between Naropa, Neljor, and Naguma. Okay. So that was a lot of time talking. What I would love to do, because we still are going to go through the philosophy of Niguma, but I just wanted to give you a chance to just share, like, how do we learn something from these stories? And I say that because there's like tons of them in the yogic traditions. There's all these stories, and we're supposed to learn something from it. And a lot of times in my experience, I hear the story and I'm like, great, magic powers, oh, love affair, no, 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 no. Who cares? But we're really supposed to like get something out of it. And so I'm just curious, like, if we understand like uh, what a spiritual path is, or not even understand, if we're looking for some kind of like relief or some kind of happiness from this yoga thing we do, what can we learn from Lady Niguma's story? And so I just invite you to share, and it doesn't have to be her story. In general, when you hear these stories, um, how do you make something of it? How do you find meaning and be able to use it as a practice? Is that clear what I'm asking? Yeah. And so yeah, please, anybody unmute, share. Let's talk a little bit.
This story is so plausible. It just happened to me within the last year, within the reason of reality. I'm not, no hundreds of years past or anything like that, but it sounds like what we're into.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for sharing, David. Yeah. It's so metaphorical in many ways. So I'm just curious if anybody heard metaphors, if anybody, even if you had like positive, negative reactions to certain, I did, I've shared them with you. There's things that I'm like, that's cool. And there's other things where I'm like, this is twisted. Anybody else want to share how they take stories and make something of it?
Well, I just always find it fascinating that all of these stories from all these different traditions have very similar metaphors and concepts. And it just really makes me think about how I wish everybody would realize that it's like a lot of the teachings are like saying the same thing from these different religious backgrounds, and if we all just like got that and embraced that, maybe we'd realize we're all supposed to be learning pretty much the same thing. So I'm always fascinated by that.
Yeah, reoccurring themes. I couldn't agree more. And
I mean, like the second you said her name has to be immaculate, like I thought of the Virgin Mary. You know what I mean? Like I thought of the Mother of Jesus, like immaculate. You know what I mean? And like the threes and all this stuff. There's always these parallels and these metaphors, and it's like, duh, it's all the same. Like we're all together in this.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Jane. I love when I see things overlapping between different traditions and you're like, funny, two different sides of the world or two different areas. And there's these reoccurring themes. There's these like messages that they're trying to share. I saw that it looks like Kim put in the chat, strengthening a sense of devotion to hear, the deep devotion of a life of practice. Yeah, what does a life of practice bring you? How can we be devoted to the thing we're trying to learn? That's cool. Anybody else want to share?
There's this in your story, in the Niguma story, there's this kind of to go along with what Kim was saying. You can't get to it by just book learning, and you can't get to it by throwing a bunch of money at it. It has to come from the practice itself.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Like, and we see that in the Niguma story. We see that in so many. It's like a reoccurring theme. It's like what you think you need to do to understand yourself, to understand this life, to reach your highest potential, or what society tells us, oftentimes doesn't work, And I find that we find ourselves in these types of classes at Mind Oasis, at the yoga immersion, or wherever we are, because like there's some part of us, at least for me, some part of me that knows like, okay, I've got to try something a little bit different. Doesn't mean I'm going to throw out the other things I do. I'm still going to have my friends and, pay my bills and do the life thing, but there's some other piece. Yeah. And then any more space before we dive into the philosophy? Anybody else want to share?
I just want to, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot to share. I'm just so inspired by her. And it's nice to learn about a woman's story. A lot of these teachings come down from men, and women are having a sort of a big second coming right now, or first coming. So
Yeah.
I just, I would love to learn more about her, and I know Maria said it's really about just being in it, but if there's any books you can recommend to read to learn more about her, I would love to know that.
Yeah, I can definitely pass along their resources. Not only for like the asana that we're gonna get into in a little bit, but the philosophy and her story. There's a whole like courses devoted to it. So I'm happy to share those where you can go and dive deeper. Yeah. And I agree. Like I said, one of the things that super turned me on to this was the fact that she was a woman and that it was a practice that she developed, that she learned from some being, called Talopa, neither masculine nor feminine, and that she was able to transform it into a way that is digestible, that we can practice, and it's so practical. You'll see. I find it really practical, and it's just so special to see her highlighted and put on a pedestal, because I agree, we don't always get that. And then was it Sherry who was also ready to chime in? I would love to hear.
Oh, you know what? Yours took the words out of my mouth. It's so funny. We were giving the same thing at the same time. So no, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Well, thanks for chiming in there and sharing. Okay, so I'm gonna spend a little more time on the philosophy. Then we'll have a break and we'll set up for the actual asana practice. But let's get into the meat of what Niguma actually teaches us to do to reach this state of enlightenment. And just to unpack that for a sec, it's not that much unpacking, but it's really just like, how do we get happy? What does she tell us to do so that we can be the best version of ourselves, so that we can actually find some peace, so that we can feel better and live a better life? That's what I translate that moksha, that liberation, or that enlightenment in practical terms. And how can we be of more service to the world? That was one of Niguma's requirements. I want someone who's kind. I want someone who's compassionate. And she wasn't like she just had to say, oh, yeah, that's me. She showed it. She appeared to the scary looking travelers and was happy to offer water, and so how do we get to a state where we're no longer afraid of what appears to us, and we can actually be of service? We can actually help them. Yeah. Okay. So this is what she says to do. There are, one more caveat. I swear I'm going to get to the philosophy eventually. One more caveat is that this system is a system among many yogic systems, okay? And you might hear some things that are familiar, but you also might hear things that almost seem to contradict, not necessarily contradict, or aren't exactly what you may have heard in other yogic lineages. And I give that caveat because I'm not saying that the Niguma one is right. I'm just giving you a heads up that it might look and sound different than what you have heard in other yogic traditions, okay? One example, we're going to go into more detail, is that chakras, the knots, are actually something we don't want. Whereas there are other traditions where you would use that chakra in a specific way, that it's a positive thing, that it can bring some realizations. In this system, we are trying to unknot the chakras, okay? And that's just one of a few different differences you'll see. So don't be surprised if that comes up. Another thing that when I didn't have the whole backstory, I was like, this is a little weird of a practice. Okay. So the actual physical poses we'll do are designed in a specific way that doesn't fit the norm of what a asana sequence is. I mean, it's not going to be crazy. It just might, a few things might feel a little bit different than normal. So be prepared for that. And what else I need to tell you as caveats? I think that's the main thing. Okay. So there's like these three sort of key concepts of her philosophy. The second one is like the meaty one. We'll spend the most time there. And the first one is this idea of using inner and outer methods. So her sequence, her yoga asana sequence is, I like to think of it as a moving meditation, so that you're not just putting your body in these poses and letting your mind think about lunch at the end of it. Infuse a little bit of meditation in it as we go through it. For me, it helped to think of it as a moving meditation. And also it helped me this idea of inner and outer methods. So I am going to give you a phrase that was taught to me as a way to share the specific lineage that I learned in. And it's a Tibetan phrase. You can lose it or keep it as you want, but I will invite you, you don't have to unmute, but just say it to yourself so you can practice saying the words. And we'll say it in Tibetan. The words are Chinang, so you can repeat to yourself, Chinang, Tabla, Tabla, Sorwa, Sorwa, Be, Be. And we put that all together, it's Chinang Tabla, Chinang Tabla, Sorwa Be, Sorwa Be. And what that means is we will use inner methods and outer methods to reach our highest potential, to reach our freedom. What are inner methods? Inner methods are things like meditation, things like contemplation, things like fighting your anxiety or fighting that jealousy tendency or anger, fighting in the internal sense of our internal world. And the outer methods being things like move your body, asana, go and do some service, do something physical, something in the outer world. Yeah. One example that helped me when I was learning this is that they gave the metaphor of like a pipe, like in your plumbing, say you got a clog in your pipe and you could do a couple things to unplug it. And it's a metaphor for our body. If you were trying to get the gunk out of the pipe, you could tap on the outside of the pipe. You could shake it a little bit, you know, you would come at it from the outside. And that's like our yoga asana series. When we move our body, we're trying to do something energetically to unlock. And like I said, those chakras, those choke points, I'm going to explain it more, but we're going to tap at it from the outside, shake it, do whatever we can to get the energy flowing. That would be an outer method. An inner method in this metaphor, you would throw some water in it. You'd go get the Drano, you know, you would use something, maybe shove a snake down in there to get it moving. And that is the inner methods. Yeah. How do you spell the words in that quote? Yeah. In the Tibetan quote, is that what you mean? It is, let me look. Chi Nang. Tabla. Sor or I think it's with an R. Be. I will pass. Oh, not with the inye, not with the thing on top. Sorry, it's actually that came out wrong. Spell. What's the word? Spell check, not spell check. The other thing. Autocorrect. Autocorrect. That's the word. So it's chi nang. Oh, it autocorrected all my stuff. I'm so sorry. Chi nang. Tabla, sor, ar, be. There we go. Okie dokie. So we're talking about getting our energy in our body like aligned in a certain way. Inner and outer methods. That's why when we go through this asana that we'll do in a few minutes, it's a moving meditation. And I'll invite you to put your mind at specific points in the body and to think about kindness, love, compassion. Those are the kinds of thoughts that are gonna help move our energy in a certain way. And let me explain that, okay? So, how can your thoughts move energy? Well, there's this other phrase. The phrase is Lung Sem Jukpa Chipa. And this is another one for you to write down. It's in Tibetan. I'm passing on the lineage here. What it means, I'll promise I'll put it in the chat. But what it means is that your thoughts and your prana is your energy. So they call it chi in some Chinese traditions. They call it prana in the Indian traditions. There's another word for it, escaping me right now. Your energy and your thoughts ride in tandem. The metaphor they give is like a rider and a horse. Okay. Let me type this into the chat. It's lung. Lung means winds. So energy, winds, prana. Sem means your mind. Jukpa, juk like bring together. Juk is together. And then chipa. Chi is one. Okay, please don't autocorrect. There it is. That's the other phrase for you. Lung sem jukpa chipa. And then I'll just invite you to say that on your own so you get to practice it, okay? And that means the thoughts and the prana, the thoughts and the winds, prana, winds, chi, ride in tandem. They ride together, okay? So those are the two like meaty concepts to have. And we were talking about like getting the clog out of the pipe. So Lady Niguma says she gives you a map of your energetic body, and we're going to keep it really simple. And you've probably heard of this, especially if you're studying with Michael Hewitt. I would be surprised if he didn't mention that you've got these two side channels, and in your side channels are where the negativity lies. Okay, so in the left channel, we'll start there. It's called the Ida. It starts at your nose, travels, sorry if I'm repeating myself, I'm just gonna go through it because I'm not sure what overlaps and what doesn't, all right? So in our left side channel, it holds negativity. It starts at the nose, it travels up along your forehead, inside the skull, on the leftish side of the crown of the head, follows back along your neck, and then it moves in front of the spine, like this tiny channel, like think of a straw, along the front of the spine, a little on the left, all the way down the front of the spine till the very base of your body, ends at the tip of your sexual organ. Left channel, the negativity that gathers there, they say, is your grasping, your attachment. All of our thoughts of, I want this. If I could just get the right job, if I could just get the partner, if I could just have one more bite of the chocolate cake, then I'll be happy. Where I study, they call it ignorant liking. That grasping, I want this. Left side channel, the Ida, okay? Then, other part of the energetic body is our right side channel. Pingala is the name, and it's same idea, starts at your nose, travels all the way down front of the spine into the tip of the sexual organ, and that's where all of your negative thoughts of aversion come in, all of your pushing away, the anger, the rejecting, the I don't want this. The word that helps me a lot is ignorant disliking. This idea that if I could just get away from that thing that is bothering me, then I'll be happy. Okay. Now, these two side channels, which are holding our negativity, they're choking off something. they're choking off our central channel. Okay. That is same idea, starts in the middle, runs along the front of the spine, tiny channel of energy. And this is the channel where all of your goodness lies. The love, the compassion, the kindness, and the wisdom, the understanding of what your true nature is, of how your world really works. Those aha moments you've had, they say when you have that moment, it was because the energy in your body on the physical sense was in that central channel. Things were aligned. And in the practice of yoga, what we're trying to do is move our body so that the winds, so that the energy goes into that central channel. Yeah. According to Lady Niguma. And these chakras come into play because according to her system, your two side channels are choking off that central channel. They're holding you back from your goodness and your potential. And they make these knots. And in her system, we're going to work with 6 chakras. Many yogic systems work with 7, 8. Other systems talk about the one at the forehead. I don't know why that particular chakra is not in Lady Niguma's system, okay? So we're gonna use a slightly different chakra system. I'll talk you through them as we go through the practice, okay? What she says to do, this is like, we're into the second key concept I was talking about. The first one being that inner and outer methods. You've got to come at this idea of enlightenment in 2 ways. You've got to use your mind, you've got to do something on the inside of you, and you've got to use the outside world. You've got to do something on the outside. Yeah. That was the first key concept. The second key concept are these ideas of chakras and the channel system. She says, how are we going to get ourselves aligned? We're going to do this. At these choke points, a chakra means, I think it technically means wheel, but it's like to choke something off. At these points, we are going to move our body to unlock the chakra. And we're going to move it in these 4 ways. This is that second key concept, like the meat of it. There's these 4 movements we'll do. The first movement is we're going to twist. We're going to twist our body to come at it from the outside to unlock the chakra. And you'll see it in the asana. These are going to be your seated spinal twist. And any of the twisting movements, that's what we're doing. We're trying to unlock the chakra. Then we are going to stretch. So yoga, you lengthen out the knot. Then you're going to gather energy. After we twist, after we stretch, then we try and bring some energy in there to unlock the chakra. And then from there, we're going to disperse the energy out. Okay. So those are the 4 movements. Twist, stretch, gather, and disperse. Or I might have said distribute. Same idea. Move the energy throughout the body. Yeah. Another like visual that helped is like, have you ever had like either necklaces or like some jewelry that got nutted up, or today, or like nowadays, it's like your power cord get mixed with the phone cord, gets mixed with the earphones, and you've got this like lump of cords. If you were trying to unknot that, you would do a few different things, right? First, you'd kind of twist it, try and figure out the twist, right? Then you might pull it a little bit. Then you would gather, you would push it together, try and get some air and some space in there. You might give it a little shake. And then you would unwind the mass of electronic cords, That's what she's doing with our energetic body. And that's how she's designed the asana system, okay? Then the other thing, we're going to work from the bottom up. We'll work from the lower knot, the Muladhara chakra, and then we'll move up the 6 chakras of the body. I'll take you through that when we do the actual practice. And then last like part of the philosophy is that inner and outer methods. Yeah. This is not the third concept I'm talking about, but just to reiterate, I'm not going to play any music as we go through this asana because I want you to think of it as a moving meditation. I will invite you to place your mind at these energetic points in the body and think about what it would mean to unlock something there. And I'll just share in the way I do it when I do this practice. When things get uncomfortable, I think of it as like those side channels that are holding some version of negativity, of like kind of releasing a little bit. And so I'm like, all right, what do I got to do to let this go or sink into it? Something wants to move out of me. It's uncomfortable. What am I going to do to help release? So you can do it that way if that helps your mind. Or I like to think about, like, how can I bring some love into my heart? What would be the inner shape of kindness? What would it feel like inside of my body to hold a position, an inner position of love or of wisdom, whatever speaks to your heart, bring that to mind as I prompt you for the different chakras as we go through the system, so that you're using inner and outer methods as you go through the practice. Make sense? That makes sense? Okay. Third and final key concept of the whole thing is that you do this practice for others. That the point of the yoga, the point of the meditation is so that we can be happy ourselves, but also so that we can be more available for others. So that, like Niguma, we can show up in whatever form we need to help someone. If they need to see us as a scary old hag so they'll listen to us, you'll show up as that. If she needs to show up as like the 16-year-old pretty girl with the name Immaculate with magical powers, she'll show up that way. If it's, I need to be dancing around in the sky and show up as a demon for you to get how important this thing is, I'll do that. That's why we're doing this whole practice, is to bring happiness to ourselves so that we can help other people get happy. Yeah. So keep that in mind as well as we go through the practice. Okay. That's all of my rambling. Yeah. What I want to do is take a 10-minute break so we can set up for the actual yoga practice. Are there any questions though about what I shared in the philosophy before we take a little break and come back to move? No? Okie dokie. So let's do this. It's 11:07. Get your yoga mat. If you have blocks, bring them. If you don't, I don't have blocks. You'll be fine. I'll do my best to give us variations and things like that so you can access the movements and get comfortable. We're gonna do over an hour of practice. Again, it's gentle yoga, but be comfortable. Get a sip of water, and let's come back at 11:17. Why don't we just say 11:20? Is that okay? You get a 13-minute break.
So 20 after the hour.
10:20. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, right, because I'm an hour ahead of you. 10:20. See you then. Okay.
Sarah.
Yes.
Sarah. I'm going to excuse myself in a little while. I'm sitting in the car. I'm going in to get my hearing aids checked. They're a week old.
Oh, wow.
So you're spectacular.
Oh.
Wow. And the stories, I love the stories. They're so resonant. So I'm going to miss some, and I apologize for my absence.
Not to worry. I'm glad you made it, and best of luck at your appointment. Yeah,
I'll
thanks
be
for
back.
joining us. Okay.
I'll be back after, I think. I don't have a place to move here
Okay.
in the parking lot, so we'll see.
Whatever works. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you later, David. Thanks. All right. I'm also just going to set up my scene here. I'll see you at 20 after. right. Karina, can I do a quick sound check? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. If at any point just like wave at me, or if you put something in the chat, I'll keep an eye open. The last 2 times I taught yoga, it was like, we can't hear you. So I got this like fancy mic and trying.
It's awesome.
I hope it works. And just wave if you can't hear. All right, cool.
And
So,
Sarah, I'll be off camera, but I will be right here.
sounds great. Cool. And then that was what I would also, thanks for bringing that up. That's what I would also like to offer. If you are comfortable with your camera on, that's great. If not, no worries. I'm not going to be a stickler. You have to have your camera on, because I like to do yoga with my camera off. So, but I do just invite you to like stick with it, you know, do the practice, even if your camera's off. Don't do what I do, which is to like bail out halfway through and go grab a tea and then watch other people. Well, all right, so we're gonna start with some chanting, and I will guide the chant. For the first one, we'll do call and response, and then as we move through, we probably won't need that anymore. And by call and response, I'm just gonna create space for you to sing it on your own wherever you are. If you're in a place where you're comfortable to sing, belt it out. If you've got housemates, people you live with, and that's not really going to work, maybe just sing it quietly to yourself. If you can make a little bit of sound, it's helpful. Why? Because sound is another way to create some vibration in the body. And like I said, this whole practice is about unwinding the chakras. So that little bit of vibration can help move some things. And then
could you move your mic a little closer to you?
Yeah, I sure can.
Thank you.
Echoey, like learning all about what sound is. Okay, is that better? Did that make a difference? Yay, okay, great. So I don't even remember what I just shared, but hopefully it's okay. Mic's on or camera's on or off is okay. Sing if you can, even if it's softly. Other thing is I'll send you the syllables we're going to sing later. So don't worry about trying to write it down. I'll spell it out for you so you know what you're saying, but you'll get the download in a piece of a document. And yeah, let's begin. So get comfortable where you can sit up and start moving your mind in that direction of meditation. Nothing too serious, but we'll eventually be doing a moving meditation. So if it's comfortable for you, let your eyes fall closed. If not, just start that beginning of moving inward in your mind and in your body. Think of what got you to this particular Zoom room. What's your motivation for being here? You can come back to that motivation if at any point during the asana practice it gets hard or uncomfortable. Remember what got you here in the first place, to this yoga immersion you're doing, or this particular practice. And then just let yourself breathe naturally. Air moving in and out of your body. You don't have to change it. You don't have to control it. Just bring a little more awareness to this thing your body does all day long, breathing. And then we're going to start at the root chakra. So the name is Muladhara. It's at the area of the perineum. So really at the base of your torso. And it's an energetic point. You can think of something small, maybe like the size of a chia seed. Start to bring your mind to this area of the body, noticing any sensation, any vibration as we chant. And the syllable we'll chant is kshang. It's spelled K like kangaroo, SHANG, kshang. And I'll sing it once, then you can repeat after me. Kshang, 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 kshang. And now together. Kshang, 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 kshang. Kshang, 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 kshang. Breathe in and we can try that melody. Kshang, 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 kshang. Last time. Inhale. Kshang, 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 kshang. Try and feel any sensations at this root chakra. We'll move up to the next chakra is Svadhisthana. It's at the level of the tailbone, so about 2 or 3 fingers width higher than where you just were at the root chakra. So about a few inches higher than that at the level of the tailbone, just in front of the spine. The name of the chakra is Svadhisthana. The syllable is yam. Yam, Y like a yo-yo, yam. And as we chant, try and imagine a vibration helping unlock any negativity at this area of the body. And chime in as you are comfortable doing. Deep inhale. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. A few moments to place your mind at Svadhisthana, the chakra right in front of the tailbone. Now we'll move up to the Nirmana chakra. This is at the level of the navel, but further back in the body, just in front of the spine. And here, the seed syllable is ram for fire. So move your mind to this point in the body as we chant the seed syllable Ram, R like rain, Ram. Inhale. Ram, 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 ram. Ram, 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 ram. Ram, 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 ram. Hold your mind at the level of the navel. And now moving up to the chakra at the level of the heart. So this is the Dharma chakra. The syllable is lam with an L like Larry, lam. And as you move your mind here, think of unraveling any negativity so that your highest goodness can flow freely. Deep inhale. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. Continue holding your mind at the Dharma chakra at the level of the heart. And then moving up to the throat chakra. The syllable is sum, and the chakra is Sambhoga, Sambhoga chakra. Again, right in front of the spine at the level of your, like between your clavicular notch and that voice box. Somewhere in there, it's different on every person, but at the level of the throat. Again, the seed syllable is sum. S like Sam, U, M, sum. Deep inhale. Sum, 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 sum. Sum, 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 sum. Sum, 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 sum. Keep holding your mind at the throat chakra. And then moving the mind up to the sixth chakra of this system. It's the crown chakra. So that highest point of your skull, a few centimeters in, so where your brain would be, you're looking for an energetic point. This is the chakra Mahasukha, means great bliss. And the syllable is hung. H like Harry, U, N like Nancy, G, like it starts with a G. I don't know, hung. And instead of the melody we've used for the previous chakras, we'll just do one long hum of hung and try and feel the vibration at the crown chakra. You can chime in at any point and then hold it for the duration of your breath. So deep inhale. All together. Hum. Whenever your hung wears out, hold your mind at this energetic point at the crown chakra. And then reconnect to your body breathing. And we'll start to move to set up for the physical asana practice. So I'll meet you standing at the top of your mat in Tadasana, mountain pose, just standing up at the top of your mat, and we'll begin the warm-up and the sequence. Okie dokie. So come to stand, and you can have your feet about hip distance apart. Karuna, I'm counting on you for any sound direction. Anyway, feet about hip distance apart. Often that means like 2 fists difference. So not too wide. Feet are parallel. You can Start to rock a little back and forth just so you land on that center point where you're balanced, using all four corners of your feet, and start to root down, really make contact with the floor. Your deep breathing. They call it ujjayi breath. So mouth is closed, you're breathing deeply, and with the feet rooted into your mat, bring some energy up through the legs. Get your hips squared and comfortable. So not tilting too far forward or back, but your hip points and sit bones over your heels. And then start to lengthen through your spine. Let your shoulders relax. Neck is long. You're looking forward, breathing deeply. Connecting to that energy that starts to flow in the body as you prepare to move. Bring some energy into your hands. Fingers start to splay out. Palms face forward. Got a nice strong posture here. We will begin the warm-up. Remember, most of the movements start on the left when we move one side or the other. So with the inhale, bring your arms up overhead, arms by the ears. And as you exhale, start to fold forward over your feet. Gentle forward bend here. You can have a little bend in the knees. And when we do a forward bend in Lady Niguma, we're going to clasp the hands behind the back. So your hands are up. And to whatever degree is comfortable for you, what we're really trying to do is get the shoulder blades to put just a little bit of push on the back of the heart at the level of that heart chakra. So if this is hard on your shoulders, listen to your body throughout this entire practice. But clasping the hands behind you, folding forward, and let the body hang as you bring some energy into the arms so you can press those shoulder blades into the back heart chakra. And then release the hands, plant them by your feet, bend in the knee, and we're going to step back into our upper push-up plank, chaturanga. And in this system, I'll guide you through knees, chest, chin. So if you prefer to lower down in one unit and you can do that comfortably, please do that as a variation. Otherwise, we're going to lower our knees. Then chest goes down and slide forward until you're in a baby cobra. Hands are still planted, or up dog, if that is a comfortable variation for you. The tops of the feet are on the mat. Your wrists are under your shoulders. You're breathing. You can even look up if that's comfortable. And then as we exhale, flip the feet and then push back into downward facing dog. Okay? Next thing is bring your left foot forward, and the goal is to get it up close by your hands. Yeah? So if you can step up to the hands or do baby steps as far as you get, plant the left foot on the ground, and then that right knee comes down to the floor. And we'll come up in a low lunge. All right? Here, we're working at the root chakra. So you want to lengthen. As comfortable as it is for you, you can put your hands on your knees if that's nice, hands at the sides. If you want a deeper stretch, you can lift the arms up by the ears and start to lengthen through your groin. Breathing, lengthening. And then plant the hands and we'll push up through the right ball of the foot and step the right foot forward to meet the left. We're back in a forward fold. Hands, again, when we're in a forward fold, are going to clasp behind the back, mini little push on the back of the heart. Then we'll, as we inhale, lower the hands, come all the way up to stand. Hands come up by the ears. And exhale in a nice, graceful swoop. Come back down. Hands go behind the back, clasping your hands. And inhale, you'll plant your hands again back down by your feet, bend in the knees. This time we're going to step the right foot back. Right foot goes back, right knee goes back, and we come up into that low lunge again. Yeah? Lengthening through the groin. Plant the hands, step your left foot back to meet your right. We bend the knees down. We do another knees, chest, chin, okay? All the way down, slide forward into your baby cobra. Then exhale, push back into downward facing dog. And we'll take a few breaths here. Our middle point. Remember your deep breathing, moving meditation. One more breath here. And then you can bend the knees, look forward. If you can jump, great. If not, start to walk towards your hands. Again, hands clasped behind the back, little push on the back of the heart chakra. Sweep the arms up on your inhale, arms by the ears. Exhale, hands down by the sides. Okay? So that's our sequence, our warm-up. We're going to go through it a little bit quicker now. All right? So, inhale, arms come up by the ears. Exhale, fold forward, clasp the hands behind the back, gentle knee, bend in the knee. Inhale, plant your hands, step the left foot back. Drop the left knee, come up to a low lunge. Exhale, gently stretch through the groin. Inhale, plant your hands. Step the right foot back now, right meets the left, and we lower down into knees, chest, chin. Slide forward, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, push back into downward facing dog. Inhale, the right foot comes up, forward, as close as your hands as you can get. Drop the left knee down. And hands come up, lengthen through your groin. Lengthening through Muladhara. Breathe in. Exhale, plant your hands. Step the left foot to meet the right. Forward fold. Hands come behind the back. Clasp, push on the back of the heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up by your ears. All the way up. Exhale, gentle fold. Back down. Clasp the hands behind the back again. Inhale. Exhale, plant the hands by your feet. Now step the right foot back. Right knee goes down, come up, low lunge. The other side. Exhale, lengthen through your root chakra. One more breath, inhale. Exhale, plant the hands down. Left foot steps back to meet the right. We're in our plank and then we lower knees, chest, Chin, slide forward. Baby cobra. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, 3 breaths here. Exhale. Inhale, root through your hands and your feet. Exhale. 1 more breath. Remember your moving meditation. Remember your unwinding of negativity and opening of wisdom. On your inhale, bend the knees, look forward, start to walk your hands up. Walk your feet up to your hands or walk your hands, whichever. Forward fold, hands clasped behind the back. Inhale, sweep the arms up by the ears. Exhale, hands down by the side. We'll do 1 more round of this warm up. Last time. Inhale, arms come up by the ears. Exhale, fold forward, hands clasped behind the back. Inhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back, left knee comes down, come up, low lunge. Exhale, lengthen through the groin. Inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, frame the front foot, right meets the left, and we lower knees, chest, chin, slide through to upward facing dog on your inhale. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, we're gonna still step the left foot forward, drop the right knee down, come up, low lunge, lengthen through your root chakra. Keep breathing. Exhale, plant the hands. Now the right foot comes up to meet the left. Forward fold, hands clasped behind the back, gentle bend in the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up by the ears. Exhale, gently keep a swoop going, fold back down. Hands clasped behind the back. Exhale, plant your hands down. Now we step the right foot back. Right knee goes down, come up into a low lunge. Exhale, little stretch through our groin. Inhale. On your next exhale, plant your hands, step your left foot back to meet your right. Bend those knees, chest, chin, lower down. Inhale through upward facing dog. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. And 3 breaths here. Inhale, step your right foot forward, left knee goes down. Last little groin stretch here. Lengthen through your root chakra. Deep breath in. On your breath out, plant your hands. Left foot steps forward to meet the right. Forward, fold. Last time, clasp the hands behind the back. Gentle knee, bend in the knee. Little push on the back of the heart and relax your neck. Loosen up. On your inhale, hands come down, swoop up, come up to stand. Arms by the ears, hands are up. Exhale, lower the hands down. Right, so that was it for our warm up. Now, come to sit on your mat. And we are going to do, that was like lengthening. The next thing we're going to do is, we can't really twist at our lowest chakra. So that one doesn't quite work. So what we'll do instead is give it a little stretch, all right? So, and we'll put pressure at one point. So let's start by bringing the soles of the feet together. And you can have your heels out in front of you if that's comfortable. The idea is that you can sit up as straight as you can. It's okay if there's a little curve in your back, but sit up straight. This is Baddha Konasana. And keeping your spine lengthened, you're gonna lean forward just until you start to feel a little bit of a stretch at your groin, okay? This isn't where we're going all the way over. This is more about keeping your spine straight and feeling a lengthening through that root chakra. So this is the stretch. Continuing that. Keep breathing. Keep returning your mind to that Muladhara, root chakra. One more breath here. Exhale. And then you'll put your feet out in front of you. So you might need to scoot back on your mat. I'll go to the side, scoot back. We're going to put our feet out in front of us and bend the left knee. So it's up as close as you can get it to your groin. If you're like, want to do the advanced version, the advanced yogi version, you would actually come to sit on your heel. This is definitely uncomfortable for me. I don't love it, but if it's possible for you, that's an option, a variation. If not, it's okay. Just get your left sole along your right thigh. And again, we're still in the process of lengthening. There's not a lot of twisting we can do, but sit up nice and straight, and then bring your heart, your torso forward as if you were going to fold over your knee, but it's not folding. It's not about crunching the back. It's about lengthening through the groin. So inhale, and as you exhale, bring your torso forward, lean forward. One more deep inhale and exhale here. And then left leg lengthens out and we switch sides. So bring your right heel of your right sole of your foot against your left thigh. Janu Shirsasana. And inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, slide forward. You can reach out and grab your foot, that's great. If not, hands at the knee, hands at the thigh, whatever's comfortable. Another couple breaths here. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, we fold. We stretch forward. One more breath. And release. Now, come to sit in a cross-legged position that's comfortable for you. This is going to be like a little bit of an internal exercise. So if you can sit cross-legged, and that's great. If you want to prop up your rear end, that's great. We won't be here too long, but what we're going to do are these things called perineal contractions. This is one of the parts when I first did this, I was like, why is this practice so weird? But what you're doing is gathering energy. Remember those 4 movements that she uses? Here, we're trying to gather energy at the lowest chakra. And the way you do that is by contracting your perineum. Another way that helped me is just think of like if you were trying to stop yourself from going to the bathroom. Number 1 or number 2, you would like clench your muscles there. So the idea is that you contract the muscles and then release. So we'll contract and release. And do about 15 of those on your own. Continuing to breathe throughout the process and think of gathering energy. I'm not going to be able to tell if you're doing it or not. There's no good or bad version of it. Just imagine gathering energy there so that we can disperse it here in a second. So make sure you're counting. I always forget to count. I also always forget to breathe. So breathe, count. When you get to 15, you can let it go. And then the next thing is going to be to disperse the energy. Yeah. So the way we'll do that is also seems a little strange, but we're going to try and do these 3 small drops at this area of the groin. Okay. Now, here's how I do it. I can't do that full lotus thing. Some people can, and then they can like lift their whole self off the body. If you can do that, go for it. Great. They can lift their whole body up and then just drop down. I can't do that. So I do more of a roll with my legs in a cross position. I just kind of push forward enough so I can get my rear end off of the mat and then drop back down. So I'll show you first. We're going to do 3 of these small drops to sort of disperse the energy. Yeah. So it's lean forward. 1, 2, 3. Make sense? And so do 3 sets of 3 small drops to disperse that energy at the lower chakra, however is comfortable for you. Don't forget to breathe, lean forward, roll up and drop. Right, I see a few people in drop mode. That's great. Okay, that was our Muladhara chakra. Let's do a vinyasa. Let's do a flow and we'll move into our next chakra. So come stand at the top of your mat. Plant your feet down. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, tiny half lift. Exhale, plant your hands and step back into upper push-up plank. Lower down, knees, chest, chin. Slide forward, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, push back into downward facing dog. And from here, we are going to step your left foot forward on your mat about halfway and right knee comes down to the ground. Okay? So you want to look like you're in a, this isn't the same lunge that we were doing forward to lengthen. This is more about getting perpendicular. So the back of the right foot top of the right foot can be on the mat. And you want to have that right hip over your right knee and the left knee over your left heel. So it really looks kind of squared off there. And we're moving up to Svadhisthana. This is the chakra right in front of your tailbone. So we'll start with the twist. Inhale the right arm up by your ear. Exhale, start to look over to your left side. Right hand comes to the right knee for a gentle twist. And look over that left shoulder. Inhale. And as you exhale, deepen into the twist. Now, if you want a deeper twist, you can bring the hands to a prayer and get your left shoulder in front of that right knee and get a deeper twist there. Inhale. Exhale, twist to your left and keep your mind at that level of the tailbone. Looking to unwind, twist it open. One more breath. Inhale and exhale. Come back to center. Plant your hands around that left foot And untuck your toes, step the right foot to meet the left. And here we're going to do a simple forward fold. Okay, this is lengthening out stretching the tailbone chakra, Svadhisthana. So here you can let your arms hang if you want to interlock, hold your elbows, get your head nice and loose, and keep your mind at the level of your tailbone. A gentle stretch. Lengthen. One more breath here. Exhale. And then plant your hands, and this time we are going to step the left foot back, drop the left knee down, and come up so that you've got same position, just now on the right side. So now the left hip bone is right over that left knee. Right knee is over the right heel, and we'll twist on the right side. Inhale, left arm up by the ear. Exhale, twist over to your right. Right hand goes to the left knee. Look back over that right shoulder. Inhale. You want to do the variation, hands come to prayer. Lean forward, get that left shoulder wrapped in front of your right knee, continuing to deepen. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, twisting at Svadhisthana. On your next inhale, coming back up to center. And exhale, plant the hands by the front foot. Unhook your left foot and step the left to meet the right. Again, in that forward fold. And this time, continue to lengthen. If it's available for you to yogi toe lock your big toes, that's great. If not, grab your shins, grab your ankles, and think about on your inhale lengthening, and on your exhale folding a little deeper to open up the Svadhisthana chakra. One more breath here. Exhale. And on your next inhale, come up to stand. And we'll do a vinyasa. Inhale, arms come up by the ears. Exhale, fold forward, plant the hands. Step back into an upper push-up plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, slide forward into baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, push back into downward facing dog. Deep inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, start to walk your feet up to your hands, and we're going to come to sit on our rear end. And this is my least favorite pose of the entire series. It is Navasana. So we just twisted the chakras. Now we're going to, we also did some forward folds. So we twisted and we folded forward. We twisted and we forward folded. That was twisting and lengthening. Now we're going to gather energy with Nirmanakaya, and it's Navasana. So plant your hands behind you and lengthen through your chest as best you can. What we're eventually going to do is boat pose. You're going to bring your feet up and exhale all your air out. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and on your next exhale, roll back so that you can bring your feet up as best you can, and arms come forward for Navasana. Breathe in for 1, 2. Lengthening through our tailbone chakra. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, release. Hold yourself up. We'll do that one more time, and then the worst part's over, I promise. And Next time, deep inhale. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, roll back, balancing on your tailbone. Arms come forward, feet come up for 1. 2 breaths. Inhale, exhale. 3. If you can straighten your legs, great. If you can't, that's okay. I definitely can't. Last time. And on your exhale, release. So we gathered energy. Next, we are moving into windshield wiper pose. Come to lie on your back. Knees are bent and your feet are flat on the floor. And we're going to take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, let both knees fall over to your right so that you get a nice stretch along the left side. Inhale, breathe into that energetic point at the tailbone. And as you exhale, bring the knees back to center. Inhale. Next, exhale, knees fall over to the left, so you get a stretch through your right side. You can start to look over the right shoulder to get a bit of a deeper stretch. Inhale. Exhale, knees come center. We'll do a few of these. So breathe in and exhale. Knees go over to the right. You look over to your left. You can stretch out that left arm and hand to your side if you have the space. Exhale. And inhale, knees back up through center. Exhale, over to the other side. Knees go left, head goes right. Lengthen through your right side. Inhale and exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, knees come center. Last time. Exhale, knees go to the right, head goes to the left. Breathe in through your left side channel. Deep inhale, exhale, knees come center. And they go all the way over, knees to the left, head goes to the right. Breathe in through your right side channel. On your next exhale, bring the knees back to center. And come to sit up. We'll move through a vinyasa. Come to stand at the top of your mat. Inhale, arms go up by the ears. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, tiny lift. Exhale, plant the knees, step back into upper push-up plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin. Inhale. Baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And a few breaths here. On your next inhale, look forward and exhale, step or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale. Tiny lift. Exhale, fold a little deeper. On your next inhale, arms come up by the ears. Exhale, hands come down. Okie dokie. Now we are moving up to the navel chakra. Okay? Actually, we already did this. Next thing we're going to do is... Sorry, I should have had you like sit on your mat for that vinyasa. So just come to sit down on your mat, and we're gonna lengthen the feet out in front of you. And the next step is to start gathering energy at our navel. So come to lie on your back, but your feet stay out in front of you. And what we're gonna do for this part is leg lifts. I'm gonna face this way so maybe you can hear me better. So starting on the left, you are going to flex both feet and inhale, lift up your left leg straight up to the sky and point the foot. On your exhale, lower the left foot down. So gentle leg lifts. We're gonna do, let's do 8 of them. So inhale, flex the foot, left leg comes up. Exhale, point, lower down. Inhale, left leg comes up. Exhale, lower down. That was 2. Inhale, point, lower, exhale, 3. Inhale, leg comes up, point, flex, point down, 4. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, take it down, 5. 3 more. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, lower it down. And on your own, 2 left, 1, last one, it's over. We're gonna switch to the right. Flex both feet on your inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, point and lower down. Inhale, lower down, exhale. That was 2. Leg comes up, lower down, 3. On your own, you have 4, 5, 6, 7, last one. Inhale, 8, exhale, lower down. That's over. Got it. Now we are going to disperse some energy. So come to sit at your, sit just in a comfortable cross-legged position. And let me look at the time. We have until the top of the hour. All right. The next thing we're gonna do is disperse energy. We're working at the navel chakra, and we'll do it with this thing called Kapalabhati breathing. I don't know if you've done any in your yoga immersion, some pranayama. It's a type of breath work, and I'll talk you through it, and I'll actually show you as best I can. Actually, you might not be able to see. I'll explain. It's a sharp exhale, and the idea is to use your diaphragm and the muscles around your abdomen to get some movement against that navel chakra. Okay, so the way it looks is we do a deep, I'll just demonstrate first. You'll do a deep inhale, exhale all the air out, and then do a half inhale, and then sharp exhales. And what you're doing is on that exhale, forcing the air out and pushing your muscles against the back of the spine. Okay, so let's try it together. Again, we'll go for 20 of those sharp exhales, so count on your own. All right, so together as a group, inhale deeply. Exhale all of your air out. Half inhale. Exhale, sharp exhale. All right, hope you were able to count roughly 20. Take a couple deep inhales and exhales to let the power of that breath start to disperse. And we'll move back in to a vinyasa and move on to the heart chakra. So come back up to the top of your mat. Feet are hip distance apart. On your inhale, arms come up by the ears. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, tiny half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into downward facing dog. And breathe. On your next inhale, you are going to step the left foot forward, and it doesn't have to be all the way up by your hands. Rotate the back right heel down to the ground and come up into a warrior one position. So you're still facing forward. Inhale, and on your exhale, twist open to warrior two on your left side. You should be looking over your left hand. And we're gonna take 5 breaths here, starting to lengthen through the heart chakra, okay? So inhale, and as you exhale, think of extending your arms out in both sides, both directions. Another deep inhale. Feel your spine grow long. Exhale, let the energy move up and down the spine as you create space through the heart chakra. Another deep inhale and exhale. Last breath. And on your exhale, you can straighten both legs. Then we're going to pivot the feet around and face the right foot, okay? Arms come back up by the ears. And as you bend that right knee, twist open, lengthen your arms, warrior two on the right side. So right knee is bent, your left leg is behind you, and you're looking over that right right fingertip. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, extend through the arms. Inhale, keep breathing. Exhale, lengthen. One more deep breath here. And on your next exhale, you can straighten both knees, pivot the feet back around, and come back up to stand. Then, same idea. We're going to move into triangle. So step your right foot back, but this time only about 3 or 4 feet from each other. There should just be about 3 feet of distance. We're not going to bend the knees this time. Instead, you can have your right foot, the back right foot kind of parallel, and your front left foot facing forward. Inhale, lengthen the arms out to your side. You're looking towards your left hand. And on your exhale, start to slide forward as if you were reaching towards something. And when you can reach no longer, you're gonna bend over into a triangle pose on the right side. So left hand goes to the shin, the calf, if you can go lower. If you wanna block, this is a great place to do that to help with balance. And the right arm is extending up to the sky. Continuing to lengthen through the heart chakra. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Sink into whatever comes up. One more breath here. On your next exhale, come up and just pivot the feet around. We'll do triangle pose on the opposite side. So, right foot is facing forward. You're looking towards your right. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, stretch towards that front foot till you can't anymore. And then pivot at the hips, triangle pose on the right side. Hand at your shin or on a block. Left arm up to the sky, looking up towards your left hand, and breathe. One more breath. On your next exhale, come to stand up. Hop the feet together at the top of the mat. And we'll do a flow. Inhale, arms up by the ears. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into an upper push-up plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, push back into downward facing dog. And breathe. On your next inhale, you can lower your knees down to the mat and come to sit on your behind. And we're going to do a seated spinal twist. So bring your right knee bends in front of you. And you want to get that right heel by your rear end. And then you can either like stay in this sort of pose here, or if you can, get your left foot over the right knee. Yeah? Seated spinal twist. If you would like a variation, like I said, you just have the left leg out, right heel to left thigh, and then we're eventually going to twist left. All right? Inhale, the right arm comes up by the ear. Exhale, twist to your left. Did I say that right? Probably not. Your right elbow is in front of your left knee and your left hand is planted behind you. You're twisting over to your left, looking over the left shoulder. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. Exhale to twist to your left. One more inhale. One more exhale, twist a little deeper. And then release. And now we'll swap legs. So this time, left knee is down. Right foot goes over that left knee over to the side. I'm gonna have both sit bones on the ground, yeah? And then inhale the left arm up by your ear. Exhale, twist to your right. Plant the right hand behind you. And as you inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Holding your mind at the level of the heart. We're twisting, creating space. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, twist a little deeper. And release. Okie dokie. There are more movements at the level of the heart because they say you have 3 times as many knots at this heart chakra, okay? So all that to say, we're not done at the heart chakra yet. The next thing is, let me look at my notes here. Okay. So come to sit with your feet out in front of you as if we were going to do Paschimottanasana, like a forward bend, except that's not what we're going to do. Feet come out in front of you, and then you're going to lie back and you can actually bend the knees. We're going to kind of go into a shoulder stand, but not really. So if you have this available to you, go for it. If not, I'll show you another variation after this. The idea is start to bring your feet up, and as if you were going to move into a shoulder stand, instead, you're going to bring your feet and either grab your ankles and start to slide them over your head. Yeah, like you were gonna, at the end of shoulder stand, there's that halasana thing where your feet are over your head. But instead of trying to get your feet to the floor or anything, what you're trying to do is put some pressure on the back of the heart. Okay, so I like to kind of rock back and forth. It's and you're looking for that point between your shoulder blades, like almost at the bra strap, where you could put pressure on the back of your heart chakra. We're trying to like get some energy there and movement to loosen it up. And the way we're doing that is this like modified either like halasana or kind of like not quite a shoulder stand. Like if you can grab your toes, great. If not, just kind of rock back and forward on your spine at the level of the bra strap. So you might have to rock a little further forward, rock back, and just play with putting pressure on the back of the heart. Now, if that's weird and uncomfortable for you, another option is that bow pose. In that case, so if that works for you, keep doing that. If you want to try a different variation, in that case, you would come to lie on your stomach and hands are back by the hips, feet are straight out in front of you. And you can bend the knees and then grab your ankles and use your shoulder blades. On your inhale, you would lift up, push into your hands and get the shoulder blades to push against the back of your heart. That's what all that back bending is about in yoga, opening up at the level of the heart. Okay, so those are two variations. Keep breathing while you do that. And then on your next exhale, we are going to meet back on our backs, lying down, knees bent. Okay? From here, the exercise is called a horse roll. So I'll demonstrate it first. This is dispersing the energy at the heart, okay? So what you're gonna do is, when you were a little kid and you would rock back and forth, we're gonna do that and rock along the spine. So as gentle as you want, but roll back all the way until you fold and then get the momentum to come up. If you can come all the way up onto your heels and lean forward, that's great. You can start doing that now. It's fine to just sort of roll back and forth, but you want to get movement along the spine. So do 5 to 7 horse rolls, 10 if it feels good, and start moving the energy that we just twisted and stretched and collected around the level of the heart throughout your entire body. Okay? Horse rolls, my favorite of this posture. Okie dokie. And then on your next exhale, come up to sit. And we are going to do one more vinyasa, and I think that's it. Come to stand at the top of your mat. That's it for vinyasas. Sorry, it's not it for the sequence. Stand at the top of the mat. Exhale all your air out. And then inhale, arms come up by the ears. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, gentle half lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, plant the hands down, step back, upper push-up plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin. Inhale, slide forward into upward facing dog. Exhale, push back into downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, come up on your toes, bend the knees, jump or step forward to the top of your mat and come back down to sit. We're moving into tabletop, moving into the throat chakra. So, seated on your behind, plant your hands a little bit further back behind you. And you can even scoot your feet forward a little bit. And on your exhale, start to push into your hands and feet up into a tabletop position. So push the hips up, and you're going to gently let the neck fall back. Your wrists should be under your shoulders. If you can get your knees over your heels, that's great. And as the neck goes back, keep breathing and start to gently, slowly look to your left and look to your right. Continuing to breathe, holding tabletop, and bringing some twisting into the neck at the level of the throat chakra. So keep looking left and right. I promise I'm doing it as best I can. It's just hard to talk and twist my neck. Yeah, so one more round. Keep breathing. And on your next exhale, you can lower down, sit, twisting. We just completed at the throat chakra. Next, we're going to move into a real shoulder stand if you have that in your practice. Okay. Setting up for it. If you like to put a blanket under your head, that's great. If you would prefer to just do legs up the wall, you can do that. If shoulder stand isn't your jam, you can also lay on your back and play with bent knees, moving them closer to your chest, all of those things. If you are going to do shoulder stand, come to lie on your back. Legs are out in front of you. And if you're using a blanket, it's nice to have it right under the level of your shoulders. And start to scoot your hands under your rear end. Okay? You're almost like laying on your hands. And then bring up one leg and then the other. And as you start to push your feet up into the sky, you've got your hands there to sort of push from your tailbone all the way up to the level of the hips, if that's available. If you want to, I don't know your practice, you know your own body, and listen to it. And so continuing to breathe, lengthening through your heels, using your abs to push your feet up, and walking your hands up your back so that you can start to put some pressure on the back of the, you're not really on your throat, but getting weight into your shoulders and pressure along that throat chakra. Okay? And breathe. Find some stillness. Holding your mind at the Sambhoga chakra, throat chakra in shoulder stand. Beginning to wind down in the practice. Keep breathing. Finding stillness. And then start to lower down. If you have halasana, if you can bring the feet over your head, you can do that now. If not, slowly start to bring the back down to the mat. Or if you're moving into halasana, the feet start to reach out overhead to the floor behind you. And beginning to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae until you're on your back. And the feet are out in front of you. And we'll move into fish pose, still working with the throat chakra. So we twisted it when we did tabletop, we lengthened and put pressure as we did shoulder stand. Now we're going to gather energy, like push a little bit. So for fish pose, turn your palms up to the sky. Get your elbows nice and grounded next to you. And then on your inhale, lift up the chest and get the crown of your head on your mat, and the throat starts to open. This is a very vulnerable feeling position. But your crown is on the mat, palms are up, and you're breathing into the throat. For fish pose. Uddiyana, yeah. One more breath here. And then start to slide out of fish pose. We're lying flat now. And we've got one more chakra, and then we'll do a nice shavasana. So start to roll over and come to your knees. And here's the thing. If you have a headstand practice, you can move into that now. I am not going to guide you through that. So I trust you to do your own thing here. Yeah, if that's available to you, you can do it safely, go into it. If not, we are just going to put some pressure at the crown of our head in a gentle way. So sit back on your knees. And if you've got a blanket, that's great, but you don't need it. It's gonna look like we're setting up for headstand, but I promise that's not what we're gonna do. Plant your elbows into your mat, clasp your hands together, and then bring the crown of your head like into the clasp of your hands, except you're gonna stay on your knees. Yeah, so you're just putting your head into the mat. You've got the clasped hands behind it, and gently kind of roll around on the top of your head, okay? It's a crown chakra, so we can't really twist or move it or anything like that. You're just gonna put pressure on the crown of your head, safely bringing your mind to that area of the body and breathing. Nice to roll a little bit and feel a stretch in your neck, but do it gently and slowly, whatever feels nice. Another deep inhale and exhale. And then you can come to sit up. We've done all of our chakras as much as we can. Come to lie on your back and set yourself up for Shavasana. Corpse pose, relaxing pose, okay? If you want something to prop up your head, great. If you like a blanket, if you want something under your knees or over your hips, get cozy. Feel that energy in your body as it starts to settle. And I'm gonna shut up for a good 6 or 7 minutes, okay? So Shavasana, I will see you in 6 minutes. begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bringing some movement back into the body. You can bring your arms overhead if that's a way to wake up for you. Bend the knees, soles of the feet up to the mat. Gently letting the knees fall over to your left, or honestly right, whatever's comfortable. Fall over to one side. You can make a little pillow with your arm or your hand. Noticing your body breathing. Then slowly start to push yourself up to sit. Get comfortable. We'll just do like a 1.5 minute dedication of our practice and what we did here today. So short meditation posture. You can let the eyes fall closed if that's comfortable, or if you prefer open, either way. Become aware of your breath. And then in any way that feels authentic for you, begin to dedicate the time you've spent today working on your heart, moving your body, learning new ideas. Dedicate that out to someone in the world who needs it. You can dedicate it towards the future you with a deeper sense of well-being. But offer up any goodness on your own and however it feels authentic for you. And inhale and exhale. If your eyes are closed, you can flutter those open. And that is what I have for you, my friends. So thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to practice with you. And like I said, I like to leave, we still have got a few minutes. I'm happy if there were questions that came up for you from today. If there were things you noticed, we've got a few minutes here. Any questions or comments?